I got to be producing, and if I stop the production, you take a farmer that's used to farming all day, knows the crow comes at 1:30, and then you buy his farm and put him in a condo high-rise in New York. He's not, he's gonna lose it.
Did you have like a timeline of like, hey, by the time I'm 20, I'm doing this,
yeah,
25 or 30 or what?
I made my first million when I was 17. Is it going to help a lot of people? Does it have mass scalability?
They're telling us their goals, and it's like, I just want to make 20 grand a month, and it's like, you don't even see how close you are to making 100 grand a month.
Right.
All right, everybody, welcome to the podcast. You Are Not Normal with Tony Mont. I got another special guest this week on the pod, who I'm excited to be talking to because, you know, we're friends, we've met a few times, but I don't know a ton about this individual because we haven't spent tons of time together, so I'm gonna learn a lot about him, and so are you guys. We have the very talented Josh Snow on the podcast, so welcome, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Thanks
for
having
dude.
me.
I'm glad we get to sit down because, you know, we've seen each other a few times out and about.
There's always a lot going on.
There's always a lot going on. There's always a lot of people when I see you. And we always say hi and do a bro hug and chat for a minute, and then we're like pulled in every direction.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be interesting, dude. I don't know a ton about your story. I know most of it. The gist of it.
Yeah.
Let me say something before we get into it, though, because I think about this when I think about you. Like, you did a podcast with Eric Klein, my one of my business partners, and we're in his office right now.
That's right.
So we're in a different setting in on the podcast. Friends with Robert Wensley, who just did a podcast with me last week. So we got like this great group of people out here in Scottsdale, right?
I agree.
Which is awesome because we get to do stuff like this. We get to go out to dinner, go to football games, everything, right? And a lot of collaboration, a lot of positivity, people helping people, which is awesome.
Great energy.
You know, when I first heard about you, I think it was like the day Eric met you for the first time, and he's like, you know, telling me all about you, and I started following you on Instagram, and I just like started like watching all your videos and all your stories that you put out, and I think I DM'd you a couple times like, dude, this is such a great angle. Like, this is so like, you just have like that mind of a marketer, right? Yeah. And the more I learned about you and your past businesses and what you're doing now with the Snow teeth whitening, right, which is an insane, huge company, and the marketing's phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's like somebody like you who's like a genius, like the top 0.1% of like marketers, whatever you want to label yourself. It's like, this is the first question I'll ask. We'll get into your story. Because I'm so interested. It's like, if I look at Josh Snow as like this master marketer, right? Is it where you have all these marketing skills and you're just like searching for a product to market? Or is it like somebody brings you a product or you think of a product and then you go, okay, here's the product. Now I'm going to figure out how to market it? Like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
For me, it's at this point, and it has been for a while, it comes from me. So I have to decide what I want to market, because when you're that good at marketing and sales, you can market and sell just about anything. So I can sell carpets, windows, lights, AI software. I'm a programmer, real estate. I do real estate as well. There's so much you can do. Then you get shiny object syndrome, and that's dangerous. So what I found is I try to use my internal dialogue and kind of roadmap to decide what is worth spending my time on it. So is it going to help a lot of people? Does it have mass scalability? Because as a marketer, I spent a decade marketing more niche style stuff. So plastic surgery, Scottsdale, that's a very niche, big market, but it's niche. And kind of mastered that. So after a while, I was kind of breaking out the seal, and I wanted to create something that would be a household name that everybody would know. And so that's where Snow kind of came from about 10 years ago, was how to create something that has mass appeal. Could I run it to the day I die? Will it mean something? Does it help people feel more confident about their smiles, more healthy? Is it almost impossible to succeed in? Because at a certain level, the level I play at and you play at and a lot of us play at is extreme difficulty. Not difficulty in the sense of like it's so difficult, but it's more, it's a speed, it's a tonality. I didn't invent toothpaste.
Yeah, it's just a higher thinking too. Yeah. Right? Like when when even like me and Eric, mentor a lot of people, and there's people that are like, come to the they come to the events or they're on a Zoom call with us and they're telling us their goals, and it's like, I just want to make 20 grand a month. And it's like, you don't even see how close you are to making 100 grand a month. You know, and then once you get to a certain level, you're around people like yourself and Robert and Eric, and it's like, oh man, like the thought pattern gets even that much bigger.
It does.
Which, you know, creates, you know, I think that's where the difficulty is created, but it's like, that's the stuff we run to. Because it's like the mediocrity isn't fun anymore, right? It's like we've
done that.
Climbed this ladder, and it's like, you know, now I'm looking for something more challenging, something that, like, even I'm gonna have to figure out, because like that's what keeps our brain going. It's what brings us gratification and all that. It's the delay of it, you know. So
it is. And I think that's, you know, to your question of, you know, I get thousands of DMs. If I waited for that opportunity, unfortunately, now there's mentoring and I have a community, and so those people are part of that. But where I'm going to kind of stake a flag in, it's got to be something that I'm passionate about. I'm interested in figuring out further. I want to master it, that seeking of mastery. And so it's kind of like you play a video game and then you go, now I want to do an extreme difficulty. Now I want to do it blindfolded and extreme difficulty. And that will get my rocks kicking. Yeah. And so you create these kind of models, and I go, okay, toothpaste. Obviously everybody has teeth. How can I create something that is in millions of homes where when I walk in, they don't know me, but they know my brand? And so that was kind of this challenge 10 years ago was I had been building other people's brands, making millions of dollars doing that, but really kind of deciding what would be my brand? What would be something that as a marketer, I could run a Super Bowl ad to? Well, it's got to be something that everybody uses. Soap, coffee, lawn care. It's got to be something big. And toothpaste, at the time, I was going through jaw surgery. So I was in there as an entrepreneur thinking, and I was buying all the products. I asked my dentist, orthodontist, and oral surgeon, what do you recommend? I got to get back to work. I speak for a living. I can't have my jaw wired shut forever. And they go, well, you're having a big surgery. It's going to be there for a little bit. So I bought all the products. And I remember coming home and looking at all the products, and they all look like industrial, commercial cleaning products. And I was like, wow, this is the best that we have, when skincare, hair care, food, all these other items look so modern. They've got better ingredients. You can see like all this stuff. Meanwhile, man, woman, child brushes their teeth twice a day and they're swallowing garbage. When is that going to happen? Because I don't want to do that anymore. So that I knew that if I built something, for me, knowing that I've had a lot of experience at the time when I started Snow, I was already a multi-millionaire. I started Snow. I didn't use my million to start. I started with $100,000, very tight, and said, let's just see. Nobody wanted to sell toothpaste with me, so I'm a solo founder. So nobody wanted to join me. Josh is going out and selling toothpaste apparently, and
is it not sexy enough? You know, it's like what is
a lot of it. Yeah, it's not sexy enough.
It's funny you say
it
about.
Seems very difficult. It's very abstract for a lot of people. Like, where would I go with that?
Yeah, and when you got like big companies like Johnson & Johnson and all these like huge corporations,
Crest, Colgate, Sensodyne.
That's where the challenge comes in, though, which I'm sure is what got
for
your
me.
motor
I'm like,
running.
oh, I could do skincare. I've done that. I could do hair care. I could do supplements, but this seems something that's almost impossible to build market share inside of. So I started that business and didn't know where it was going to go. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and it was in my mind, and I just kept thinking. Nobody was telling me to do it. It was in my mind, and I knew that was something that would teach me to become the man I am today. I've taken $0 from Snow in 10 years. Never a distribution, never a dividend, reinvested every dollar. Bootstrapped the first 100 million by myself, no help, no outside investment, nothing. So that was a very this is my first piece de resistance. This is going to be my Mona Lisa. Yeah. And I want to see if I can get millions of people to use it. A couple of weeks ago, we shipped our 100 millionth treatment.
Holy shit.
We've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on Shopify alone, online. We launched Costco last year, sold out, outsold our competitors in almost every space we were in. And so now I pick up the phone and I'm known as Josh Snow because I've shared that Snow story for 10 years on social media. I now have the #1 most watched TV show on the planet, more than anything you can name. It's called Going Public, and we stream with X. Last season was with Wall Street Journal, so this is our third full season. Once I'm back from Europe, where I'm flying to Vegas to do our first live finale with X. So we're going to be streaming live. And so I've been able to kind of follow this path, share with people the ups, the downs, the craziness. We just closed Target. We just closed Costco. This is how it's working. And then the community of entrepreneurs of over 1 million people that follow me, they've been able to see that along the way. And they go, Josh is someone that's going to, if he says it's going to happen, he might not even say it. It already happened, and then he'll say it. So I'll just pop out and be like, Costco. Yeah. And they're like, whoa, what's going on? If you're my close friends, you might see that I was working on it. I'm going to the HQ. And all of a sudden, boom, first brand in 20 years to launch an oral care of Costco, Snow. And it's like, what happened there? For me, it was that challenge of, could a broke Hispanic loser from West Phoenix, me, with no one in my family in entrepreneurship at all, first to graduate high school in my family, the youngest. So could I do that? And I've always kind of followed that path, and I'm very grateful and blessed for it. I graduated valedictorian as the first in my family. None of my siblings graduated high school. So to go and graduate number one of 500 students, that was a challenge. Then I went to Arizona State University, the honors college and the business school. I graduated there in 24 months. I came in with 0 credits. I took 23 credits a semester, which is double the workload. Ran a multi-million-dollar business from my dorm room. Was playing intramural sports, joined the Hispanic Business Association, had a girlfriend, did it all. And I think that's been kind of a pattern. It's a pattern. They always say if someone's going to get it, it's going to be Josh. Yeah. Everything always works out for Josh, but I make it work out for me.
They see the end product and it's like, oh, Josh is lucky, or Josh is this, or Josh is that. But it's like, no, like this has been a pattern and it's been a lot of work. Even though you're young, right? You're 32.
Yeah,
32 years old. So I got 10 years on you. But to see what you've accomplished in 32 years is insane. But I always ask this question too, and you kind of answered it with like growing up, it's like my parents, my grandparents, like everybody who raised me were like extremely hard workers. Like my mom cleaned houses, my dad worked at a factory, my grandfather was a bookie. But like everybody like had their blue collar job, but they just worked like savages. So like for me, it was like I always wanted more. We weren't like dead broke, but you know, I got a used car for $3,000 when I turned 16. I think I paid half of it. My dad paid half of it. And that was like the one car you get, right?
That's it.
One pair of shoes a year, like just typical blue collar growing up, but, you know, had food on the table.
Yes.
But I had a great example of how like work ethic and hard work. And I grew up in, you know, Illinois, like outside of Chicago. So it was just like that blue collar, get to work kind of attitude. But for some reason, and I don't know exactly where it came from, maybe it was ego or something. Even when I was younger, I would just tell people all the time, like, I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, I don't care what it takes. Like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be successful.
I think you see how hard they work, and you know that 1 million might mean that you don't have to work as hard as long. Not because you can't and you wouldn't, you're going to. And entrepreneurs give up a 8-hour job for a 24-hour job. So we know it's 50 times harder. But there's something I can connect with that because I saw my dad as an immigrant from Spain making $3 an hour, one shoes a year. I remember when I was 15, 16, when I started making some good money, the first thing I did was go out to the mall here in Phoenix, and I went straight to the Vans store. And I told the Vans employee, get me every color in size 12. Like it was just like a crazy moment where I was just so held back because we'd get one pair of shoes, you got to clean them, take care of them. I got a $4,000 1992 Toyota Camry as my first car. Unfortunately, I was hit head on by a drunk driver like a month after getting the car. So I had to go back to the city bus for a little bit. So I had those moments, but I think we realized that we're willing to outwork anyone, but it's if you combine outsmart and outwork, and you have the work ethic, but you do it on the right thing, there could be something there. And so that was kind of the inkling in my mind growing up. I started at 13 years old. Family had no money. We couldn't afford a computer at home. So we had nothing. I had to work on the public library computers 1 hour at a time. You swipe your card and you get 1 hour to be on there. And so I started building websites at the Phoenix Public Library, Desert Sage in West Phoenix. And I would build websites when I wasn't in football or track and field. I had a whole gap, and I would spend as long as I could. They would close and come pick me up. And my dad would sometimes ask, what were you doing the whole time or whatever? I was working on the computers. And He didn't know. He's like, is it legal? Is it fine? He had no idea. But I was starting to build websites because when I would see the kids, my friends, play games, I wanted to build the game that they were playing. I wanted to change it. Why does the game not do this? Why does a website load so slowly? Or just, I didn't even know what I was doing. No one taught me this. There's like no connection. I can't connect to someone that said, I'm going to teach you this stuff. But there's little pieces that leave clues. One of them is having very hard-working people around you, because you gain this grit, this rugged individualism that you just got to pick yourself up. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to figure it out. But what if I could find a better way? And that was always the kind of thing when I was in high school. If I have $1 million in my bank, maybe I won't go to college. So I got started really young, fortunately, but also through pressure of being broke, that I was like, man, I'm the youngest. I gotta figure something out. Like, there's gotta be another way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna go and practice to become a doctor, because a doctor makes enough money, can help the community, I can elevate my family out of poverty, all this stuff, even if it takes 20 years. So it's like, I gotta get good at school just in case this entrepreneurship stuff doesn't work out.
Let me ask you this. So like, I did this to myself back then too, where I was like, all right, I gotta figure this out. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Like back in, I was very like hands-on, technical, not like with computers.
Right.
And I was a really good welder. The first time I picked up, a welder, I was just a natural, and I zoned out, just like you probably zoned out when it came to computers and building websites. Like, I think we probably have whatever ADHD or some shit that they push on us. But like, I was always scatterbrained as shit until I found something, and then I could focus on it, and I would almost go into like a trance.
Yes.
And like, welding was that for me, where it was like kind of chaotic. There's all this explosion going on.
Flow.
But it just like, and it was just like, dude, I would weld for hours and it felt like minutes. And it was just like that one thing where I was like, oh, like, I can do this. Now I can become an underwater welder. I can make a couple $100 an hour. I can, like, this is my way out, right?
Yes.
There was a path. And I started giving myself like a timeline of like, all right, by the time I'm 20, I need to do this, right? And then once I hit 20, I was like in a way different spot in my life. I had, went down the dark arts path and found drugs and put my focus in that. So once I reset, I was like, all right, now by 30, I have to get something going. And that's when I finally did, in a different industry. But did you have like that feeling of, all right, I'm 13, like, we get obsessed with something. And I think as entrepreneurs and building businesses, like, we're natural fixers. Like, we want to fix something. Here's something that's wrong. Let me figure out how to fix it. I find myself doing that, like, almost accidentally with my friends too, where they're like going through something. And I'm always trying to give all this advice to fix. And they're like, I don't need advice. I just need you. I just need an ear to lend.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me, because it's like, man, I have all this advice, not in a cocky way. I just want to get all this.
I want to help. I want to get it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were like a fixer, right?
Yeah.
And you're young. Did you have like a timeline of like, hey, by the time I'm 20, I'm doing this?
Yeah,
25 or 30 or what?
I made my first million when I was 17. So I sat there, and I remember in algebra class freshman year, I had just put AdSense ads on one of my blogs. So public library, no computer at home, broke, figured out, I Googled, how do you make money on a website? Used my dad's information to sign up for AdSense, put a little snippet of code on my website, showed ads, woke up in the morning, checked it. As soon as I got to school, boom, boom, showed my friend Xavier. I was like, check this out, 17 cents or something. But I made that while sleeping.
Crazy.
And to me, my family, we all work, and if you don't work, you don't get paid. And my dad never took a day off in 13 years. He won an award called the Iron Man at his job for not taking a day off in 13 years, including Christmas, Thanksgiving, everything.
Wow.
So that hard work ethic was instilled in me, that grit. My dad's an immigrant. I've got to figure out America. How do I elevate my family? How do I not ask for anything? Because we want to help and problem solve versus like ask for help. So I spent a lot of my life learning how to ask for help. But back then, when I was 13, 14, 15, I would do math and algebra. Okay, if I get 100,000 people to the website, 1% of them click, that's 1,000 clicks. And if it's $1 a click, that's 1,000 a month. I can afford my own car. I can buy my own underwear and pencils and another pair of shoes, a second one for the year. So that was like the initial. And then it was 18. Do I really want to go to college? Well, if I have this much money by 18, then I won't go to college. But then you get to that spot, and it's still, that imposter syndrome is there. in my mind, I still wake up today. I can be in my Rolls Royce. I can be anywhere. I wake up as that broke kid on the bus that might lose it all. And so I balance that with nowadays, being present and grateful.
Yes.
I love to help as well. I had to go through years of therapy to figure out that I had one of the biggest masterminds in the country, and I was helping men all day long with their problems, mostly men, all day long with their problems in and outside of business. They come in for business, and then you realize there's some other areas, and I can't help but say what's on my mind.
Sure.
And if I think it's going to help, I'm going to throw it out there. But I was spending so much time helping others that I need to spend some time helping myself.
Sure.
So I was able to kind of catch up the last few years, which has made me so healthy, happy, just so good. But I think I was chasing constantly. When I'm 18, I won't go to college if I have this. When I finish college at 20, I need to have this. And then when I'm 22, I need to have this. And then Snow needs to be here. And I built and sold many companies while building Snow by myself on the side. That's how I pay my bills. And so all of those had different pressure mechanisms. And you need a deadline. You need something there.
Yeah.
But I find that most people think in base 10, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, billion. And I've coached thousands and thousands of millionaire entrepreneurs now one-on-one and in groups, but mostly one-on-one. And I've seen that kind of pattern in myself. I've seen it in other people. And so we create this kind of ethereal goal that we're going to go after. And the thing is, I sold the company 2.5 years ago for 70 million cash that I put no money in. 20 employees, phenomenal business, sold it for 70 million, me and my partner. And for me, I think, when I look now at between 10 and 100 million, 70 million's dope too. Like, it doesn't need to be 100.
Yeah.
And then 100 to
That's
a billion.
close enough, yeah.
What about 377,500,000?
Yeah.
You're not going to take that because it's not a billion? Well, what about if you could invest that in real estate? What if you could stay alive and just
Yeah.
let your money compound? You're going to get that Billy. 350, you stay alive long enough, you're going to get a Billy.
Yeah.
Just by doing, you don't have to work. You
Yeah.
just have to invest wisely. Now you got to teach yourself how to invest versus let other people invest. What should I be investing in? So I think I've always been pushing myself in different ways. I wanted a house at the Phoenician, right by the golf course and stuff. I got that. And then it's like, okay, what's next? Well, I've had every car I could dream of. So it's like, I want this one. Well, I need this one. Well, I need this one. Then you go to car clubs. You're like, maybe I need this one. Rallies. Then I need this one. So you kind of chase this whole thing.
Yeah,
and,
what is the balance there, right? Because it's like, I think we all,
you need a goal.
you need a goal, right?
But where does it stop?
Where does it stop? Because I think we all learn at whatever level, when you start making a lot of money and you have all this excess money and you grew up like we did, very
Right.
blue collar, it's like, I'm going to go buy every pair of shoes at Vans. I'm going to buy Rolexes like I did. I started buying Rolexes. I started buying new cars. I started going
I need a bigger house.
on
I'm
these
going
trips
out,
all over the
trips.
place. And I was paying for everything. All my friends that fly everywhere, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, like I got a blessing from the heavens where the business I had out in California took a hit for a couple years.
That'll wake you
I
up,
started
huh?
losing money, and I was like, shit, I didn't realize I could lose everything really fast. And now this next run over the last 4 years, I've been, I wouldn't say conservative, but I've been more cautious about how I'm spending money and what my goals truly are. It's like, do I need that brand new car? Do I need another Rolex? Do I need a bigger house? Do I need this? Or is it just going to be an empty feeling? Like, I do have goals, and it's like, they're just more healthy, I would say, now.
I'm the same wavelength, man. I spent the same, just chasing this car, this house, this will get it. And then you end up at some point with an emptier feeling than you expected. It's never, maybe it's as good as you think it is for some things and maybe for a little while, but after a while, I look at my closet and all the money I've spent and millions of dollars that I've spent on traveling and bottle service and all this stuff. And it's made me who I am today, and I'm very grateful and blessed to have that grounding, right? We have that now because we've done that. It's just, that balance is hard because when I talk to younger entrepreneurs,
Yeah, they're at that stage.
they're at the stage, and then I go, do I tell them stop fixating on that? But I was the same way, and that got me that, and it got me where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And you need that kind of goalpost, but I think today
It's
now,
like you have to go through that, right?
you kind of do.
Yeah.
You have to lose the money, millions of dollars. You have to buy the stuff, the Rolexes. And then now for me, it's financial freedom, freedom of location, freedom of time. I'm going to Europe for 2 weeks. I have a phenomenal team. How much can I make without having to actively be involved?
Yeah.
And now it creates a different dynamic. And it's like, okay, how can I give back while I'm doing well? How can I help my team do better while I don't have to be there? And so now it's become more about health, flexibility, friendships, hanging out with my guys, going on a guys trip. We were just in Cabo. Like, how can I create more flexibility? Because I think that no matter what car you have, and I can pull up in a car and I'll have people way wealthier than me. How'd you buy that? I'm like, you have enough money, just go buy 3 of them.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's something in there. And I think I kind of broke that barrier now at 32. And I'm very grateful to have it at this age where I can't really get excited by things like that anymore. If it's convenience, a good massage, a great meal, friends time, family time. If it's somewhere I really want to go, we were just in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, sleeping under canvas with no Wi-Fi, no nothing. We went to Dollywood, which I didn't even know was a thing. Had a blast at Dollywood, went and saw some animals, did a mountain coaster. So that kind of freedom and flexibility to me, I think is truly, it's what I want. But in a weird way, it's a flex, because people that are stuck and they're making millions in a year in their pocket, but they got to be at the office, or they got to take the car. They got to. Now all of a sudden they go, I got the cars, but Josh is drinking a coconut in the Philippines right now on Tuesday,
right?
And he's chilling. And we might make the same, but that flexibility, I'm not going to miss my cousin's birthday, or I'm not going to. And I feel like long term, as you get older, that's the thing with the younger entrepreneurs, if they're starting out on their journey, if they're older, it's hard for me. I feel a little hypocritical because I go, dude, just focus on your health. Get your blood panels. Travel with your family and friends.
Right.
And they go, I just want a new Lambo.
Yeah, I just want to pay my bills.
And I go, I want to pay my bills, I want to do that. I go, okay. The real reality, though, I think, is one of the ways I kind of teach it is take your active income, turn it into passive income, enough so, and then you can afford yourself more of the treasures as you grow your passive income. So if you put 5 million in or $1 million in, that's now making you 100,000 a year. That's where you got to live off of. Otherwise, make more active, turn it into passive. Because then eventually what happens, I've sold, when I sold a company for $70 million, we also gave away $1 million in profits. So that cash flow, you get the trade-off.
Right.
But cash flow is really important. Being able to, at least for people like us, and I know for myself, I need to be able to close the deal. When we close Costco, we're like, I need the hunt of the deal. I need to lead a team. I got a mentor because I feel I'm responsible for it. I'm good at it. I love working with my people. I love working with friends. So now I get to bring in some of my friends and different deals that I'm doing. So that's fun. And we get to travel together and all this stuff. Robert Wednesday, for example. So kind of figuring out how do I, if I want to have a new whatever every month, or I want to go on vacation every month, don't take from my active income, take the millions of dollars of active income and turn that into $1 million a year of passive.
Right.
And then what does that add to? And now that allows us to move to more land or a bigger place. So there's, kind of those areas of conversion of active to passive. And then it forces you. And then if you're giving away 10, 20% to nonprofits, we serve underserved students here in Arizona. We started the Phoenix Coding Academy in downtown Phoenix about 8 years ago, which is a full public high school that teaches underserved kids robotics, 3D printing, AI now, where that was me. I didn't have access to a computer at home. A 3D printer is $2,000. How will I ever buy one? So we bought them for the school. They have access to them all. It's a phenomenal community effort. So you kind of have a mix, and then you realize in nonprofit, you'll never be rich enough. Even if you have 500 billion, you won't help enough people if that's your focus. So then all of a sudden you look like a peanut. So then you're like, all right, humbled. And then you go, all right, well, I'm making all this money, but I'm pretty stressed. What if I could just be vibing all day, but also make that money? Now you create another challenge. So the intensity seeking mechanism inside of us, it needs to find a difficulty in something. So the difficulty when it's handed to you or fed to you, it's get a Lambo, it's consumerism, buy Dior t-shirts, I've done all that, bottle service, party, travel, yachts. and I love a good yacht, and I love a good time. But now, if it's going to take away from, honestly, I wanted to go to my little cousin's recital, or my cousin's, he's a boxer, his fight. If I can make it there, that's going to be doper long term, and I know that's what I want to do, than going to Bahamas one more night or something. So you've got to create that flexibility, and I think that's true baller level, where you're really in control of that.
Well, and it's more mature, and it attracts mature people to follow you too. Because if you're always putting out there the flashy stuff, or the new Lambo, or the new watch, or the new hot chick, or the whatever whatever you're doing, like those are going to be the people that come seek you out. Correct. Like your social media is like very mature, and it's like, I'm sure it's bringing a lot more mature people to it.
I just started sharing me, dude. Like I used to share a little bit more. I was never fully into that, but now it's just like, man.
Well, it's things you're interested in too.
I'm interested in,
Yeah, it's like there's certain things you post on there too that's like, look at this ad, or look at this article, look at how interesting this is, or funny it is, or whatever it is, and it's like, oh, this, like I can consume this content because it is interesting. It's something that I wouldn't look at on my own naturally. Right. But I'm friends with Josh, and he's looking at it, and it's interesting to consume it.
And then you'll see, and then you might, because I don't put a lot of context, but a lot of times people will see, they'll click, and then they'll see perhaps what I saw inside of there. So it could be a Mountain Dew commercial, and I repost it, but then someone will slide through and be like, that was so brilliant, the way that they did this. And now I'm kind of crowdsourcing what I'm interested in. And so now I got my buddies, so then when I go and have dinner, it's like, dude, what you posted a couple days ago, it's kind of what you were posting. So we have this, and what you post is what you attract. Sure. And so when we were working with, for example, with Floyd Mayweather, we had access to his DMs and stuff as we were kind of running campaigns. And my team was like, everybody's asking and commenting for money. They want money. Well, it's Floyd Money Mayweather. Sure. And it's, I'm a baller. I got my money. Ha, ha, ha. So all he got, as far as I knew, is requests for money. So you go, gosh, that's not necessarily what I want to attract. And so what do I want to attract? I want to attract what I'm interested in. So I'm going to start sharing what I'm interested in unapologetically. I don't need anyone to like me to make money. I'm going to sell toothpaste, whether you like it or not. You could be one of my many millions of customers. And if I lose you, I'm going to try my best to get you back, because we believe we have the best products and the best service. But at the end of the day, it's $9 that I'm going to lose on toothpaste. So it gave me that freedom to really be who I am and share that on social media. And in a crazy way, it's attracted some of the best opportunities in my life. And the people that reach out to me now are billionaires that follow me, that have self-made, and they go, yeah, I connect with that. Or I do feel a little bit lonely. And they'll reach out to me, and it's like, hey, let's talk, brother. Let's hop on a call. Boom, boom, boom. And you realize that you either do the work along the way. Some do it in the beginning, which is like 1%. Sure. Most do it at the end.
Yeah, after a lesson.
I'm going to make $1 billion, and then I can have friends, and then I can work out, and then I can go to Europe, and then I can actually go for a week. And so one of the things I've been testing is, how long can I go on vacation? 3 weeks has been my highest. Can I go 3 weeks and my businesses grow by me being gone? Of course, I'm always working. If you're an entrepreneur, you're always working. Yeah. I get like a tingle in my body if sales are down for an hour. Like that's how ingrained it is. But I try to say, okay, let me put my phone aside. Let me jump in the ocean. I'm going to enjoy it. Enjoy my time with friends, and realize that I worked so hard to even be able to do this. Right. And so I've kind of be present along the way. And I think it makes the end a lot easier. I sold a company when I was 22, right before starting Snow, and I slipped into a deep depression because I was so used to doing stuff.
Can you tell me about that? Because you said you went to therapy and stuff too. Because it's like, you know, people see or hear the numbers, right? 70 million or this or that, and it's like, it happened to me. Like I got arrested on a first-degree murder charge when I was 22 years old, and I went, you know, almost 2 years, went to trial, got found not guilty. And everybody would say, like, now at that point I was 24, turning 25 very soon. Wow. And everybody was like, oh, you must be so stoked and happy and all that. And it was like, dude, I went into the biggest depression ever for close to a year after I was free. And it was like, and just like you were about to say before I cut you off, it was like, I was so focused on this one thing for 2 years. Like it consumed me. And then all of a sudden with a hit of the gavel, it was gone. And now it was like, dude, my brain was like a washing machine. I was like, where do I put all this energy and focus that's been so focused on one thing for 2 years?
It's exactly
and I'm
what
sure
it is.
it was the same with
It's
that.
exactly what it was. I was running my agency from 13 years old to 21, 22. I had to share with school. I was in high school, then I was in college. So I never had full time to work on business. I graduated college. Then I said, okay, well, now I can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's what I should be doing. Started doing that, didn't work out, didn't eat healthy, just full on that. Sold the agency, and then was like, what do I do now? So for about 6 to 9 months, I was confused, not sure what to do. I said, well, I might as well get my jaw surgery. I have time now. That I had jaw pain, so it was voluntary, but I was like, now's the time. I'm gonna knock it out. The younger I do it, the better. That's what the doctors say. So through that process, I was yearning for something. So talking to my orthodontist, my dentist, my oral surgeon, had him come over to my house. We're hanging out. We're at the Phoenician. I'm in my Bentley and Lambo at 22. And he's like, what is this guy doing? So we become friends fast. But there is that kind of cognitive dissonance and there's all this intensity seeking, all this energy. So what I've learned now is, who do I want to be 2 years from now? Start acting like that today, and it will manifest faster. And then start thinking at least a year when I'm selling a brand or a business, I got to start thinking of what that map looks like. Because if I have too much idle time, it drives me a little bit crazy. And I love to hang out with my friends. I love to hang out with family. I love to travel. I love to do all that stuff. But I got to be building. And when you're a builder, you got to be building. You got to see progress. Like, I love to be around people. So if I don't have that, and that's what I learned when I was 22, sold it, all my people gone, nothing to work on, from 100 clients of this. There was always something to look at. And now I'm like, well, I got a few of my side projects. They're doing very well. I could sell them, but like, what? Just really confused.
Yeah.
So I went through that cycle, started snow, and snow saved my life in many ways.
Sure.
The hardest thing I've ever done and maybe will ever do. And it's what I needed. I needed the most difficult challenge where it was impossible to ever succeed.
Yeah.
And dedicate myself to that piece, and then reinvest everything because I didn't have investors. So then it forced me at night to build the $70 million exit, the $30 million exit, the $2 million a month. I had to build that stuff with other people, and that kind of forced the dynamic. But then a few years ago, I realized that there was still some trauma, poverty trauma, just, that imposter syndrome, all this stuff. And so I said, man, therapy's been so stigmatized in my family in general, especially for men. I don't need a therapist, because growing up, you're either okay or you're in the loony hospital.
Yeah.
So there was never like an in-between where you have a healthy relationship with a life coach or a therapist.
Right.
Never talked about, never a thing. And finally, I decided to hire a therapist, $150 or whatever. And I go, that felt pretty good. And I knew that if I didn't like that therapist, I can go find another. I was like, all right, I'm going to be honest with the therapist and just have a third party to talk to. And so I went down the path, multiple therapists, different types of therapy, psychiatrists as well, to make sure, do I have anything? Is there anything genetic? Anything I need to prepare for? But my brain cannot stop. And I feel this intensity. And eventually, by kind of working through some of those, I know I will not be broke again, because I will outwork and I will do my best. I'm a man of integrity. I follow through with my word. I know that I'll at least always have food, a place to live, and an opportunity to serve.
Sure.
And so like that, I had to work through that. And I told myself that for years, but that was kind of that cognitive dissonance that I was trying to fill. And men who lack purpose seek entertainment. And so in entertainment, consumerism, TV, all that stuff, you make money through production, not consumption, and you make impact through production. You don't make impact through consumption. So if I want to help people, make money, change lives, I got to be producing. And if I stop the production, you take a farmer that's used to farming all day, knows the crow comes at 1:30, and then you buy his farm and put him in a condo high-rise in New York.
Yeah.
He's not, he's going to lose it. And I think you got to have something that you're doing that's meaningful and has progress, because clarity comes through progress. And I think self-confidence, purpose, all that stuff comes through that. And I think for a lot of younger entrepreneurs that don't have a family, they don't have kids, they're not married, it's Lambos, Rolexes going out.
They're filling
dating.
a hole.
You're
really.
filling the hole.
Yeah, it's a purpose thing, right? And like you can take a beaver, put him on the top of the Empire State Building. He's gonna look for wood to chop down, and it's the same with us. It's like you put us anywhere, we start trying to figure out how to fix it, how to grow a business, how to make a business out of this. A good friend of mine the other day, she's like, hey, I'm resigning from my position at work. I'm freaked out. I don't know what to do. And I just like, oh, well, here's your skills. This is the game plan. Like, here's the offers you need to do. Here's how I'll help you. Like, it was just like in 10 minutes, I saw this whole business plan in front of her, that she couldn't see. And it's like, that's just what we do. You can't take that away.
No.
You can have free time and live in the present and all that. But it was like, even when we moved out here, it was, I went from, I was out in North Carolina with Eric and Shyla, and we were, making all this money wholesaling. And then I get out here, and for a while I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to spend my time? Because I was like, I'm kind of working part-time and making good money. And it's like, but I don't feel good. Like, I need something. And I was just like, aching to build another team so I could be around a team every day and coaching them. Because it's like, naturally, I'm just coaching people all day long. And it's like, I can coach them on a Zoom call on how to build their own wholesaling company. But I want the guys in the office, person to person, where I can coach them how to be savages like within my business and take that with them the rest of their lives. So it's like all day long now, I'm coaching my team, I'm coaching on Zoom calls, I'm coaching at events, I'm coaching my team again. And it's like so rewarding because that's my purpose. Like I have found that out through my career where it's like, I think in the beginning of the wholesale company, like the first month I was making, the first month I made like multiple six figures.
Wow.
I think I made like 200 and something grand, this was years ago. It wasn't the first month in business, but I'm saying the first month where I made that kind of money in my life. I remember calling my life coach, and I'm like, dude, I've been making good money. I haven't had to look at my bank account in a decade or more. And I'm like, I don't want for anything. I'm like, but I just made like $250,000 in the last like 30 days or something. I'm like, and it hasn't moved the needle a centimeter on happiness or anything. And I was like, I thought at this point in my life, it would be doing something, and it's not. And, he said something. It was right when I started like coaching in the space. And he's like, dude, when you talk about helping people, he's like,
you light up.
He's like, I feel you alive in that moment. He's like, you need to lean into that. He's like, you've proved to yourself you can make money, right? In different industries, he's like, you're a hard worker. You'll work your fingers to the bone if you have to. He's like, you got that figured out. He's like, don't worry about that. He's like, let's worry about like how you get fulfilled and have a purpose. And he's like, maybe that for you is helping and coaching. And since that conversation, like that's been like almost all my life. I mean, a huge part of it.
It's a big deal. I think giving back, it's a form of giving back. It's a form of vengeance to your younger self that didn't have that leg up. It's what you wish you would have had as well. So giving that, it's an act of service. My love language is all act of service, essentially. So what can I do to serve? And so sometimes when I'm listening to someone, I've learned now to ask, Tony, you want me to just listen through? Or do you want me to help you solve? I just want you to listen through. Done. Shut it off as best as I can. It still runs. It's still creating all the plans. It's still there. But I know that person at the moment needs that. But the coaching, it's one of the reasons why we have our TV show. We just finished season 3 that's streaming right now. It's teaching other people entrepreneurship, mentoring on the actual show itself, the entrepreneurs. We have tens of millions of viewers. So there's some kid or someone out there that will see something inside there. So I had a similar revelation that in coaching, as long as in my case, I like to do a little bit of both. I like to teach, coach, podcast, TV show, whatever I could do, newsletter. And then if I have something very challenging to me in the core, which it's challenging enough to help people, but if I have something like snow where I'm in control, but it's very difficult, and I know I got to make progress, and then I can talk about that progress and share it real time. But then also like the more meta you can make your life. So if you're doing wholesale, teaching wholesale, working like the more tight you can make it. So I teach e-commerce, we do e-commerce, retail, we're doing retail, so we share it. So everything's really tight, and I think it makes you feel a lot more fulfilled. And some of us, not everybody is necessarily loves coaching or is meant for coaching, or maybe not yet. But I think once we get to a certain point, it feels so good because you get a little hit of dopamine and through proxy of all the people you're helping. And it's not the exact same rush of you doing the thing yourself. When I'm talking to a business owner, I say, do this, and they come back in 3 months, they go, I'm from $100,000 to $1 million a month. It wasn't me. I don't own the business, but I'm so happy. I'm proud. There's a little of like, like I knew that. And like,
I am smart.
I am smart. And like it proves it. The imposter syndrome goes away.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like helping people, even the nonprofit, just going and talking to the kids and, helping them through a problem that they're in their home life or whatever it is, just listening to them. It feels really good. And there are, there's a certain segment of us that are uniquely attuned to be able to teach because we are listened to. And I think that's a big piece of it is that, Tony Robbins walks in, 4,000, 5,000 people, his voice, his everything, everyone's listening. And there's just something that breakthrough is going to come through. And I found this similar kind of addiction to helping mostly men in my mastermind, but helping anyone come through a breakthrough. So we have, whether it's, Tiffany and her hair company, whether it's Joe and his bandage company, whether it's Luke and his MMA recovery company, Anaconda Fightwear, whatever it is that I'm able to see a tangible change. And most importantly, try to drill into, I'm the youngest, so I don't have little siblings, little brothers or little sisters. So for me, being the youngest, I always wanted to be older, old soul. And so I feel like you, that there's a purpose here that if I can keep doing great things and I can share from those great things and help other people do great things, there's a multiplier effect. And I can write a check to Make-A-Wish, and that's fine, and that's amazing. But if I take that same check and use the resources to teach 1,000 entrepreneurs and they create 1,000 jobs, that's 1 million people that I'm able to help impact. And so the conduit for helping is exciting. And when I see all the wins from my students, it gives me a little bit of that dopamine release, and I can go back. And I had the same thing. We had a $500,000 day, and I went in there. I was like, it doesn't hit the same way. And you kind of go through that kind of process, and you have to realize you got to make good money. You want to be able to help people. You don't want to struggle. You want to live in a good place. You want to do all the things you want to do. So you got to make good money. You work for it. You earn it. Self-made, amazing. But what if you could help others reach a similar type of lifestyle or whatever it is? And they'll have their own take on it. I don't judge. Everybody does their own things. But being able to be a conduit, a channel to help them, a catalyst to help them do that. And if you're able to be, if you have the skill set at the time, I think it comes with experience. If I tried to do this 10 years ago, it wouldn't be the exact same thing. Today I'm Josh Snow and I'm like, this is what we're doing. And they listen. I sold $1 billion at confidence.
But it's like, it
took a long time though.
Of course
it took selling $1 billion of my own products. I just crossed $1 billion. And barely still now, I found myself some days saying, am I qualified enough to teach these people?
Am
I doing enough for them? Though. I think it does make the best coaches.
It does, teachers. Though, because it keeps you humble and it keeps you learning that you don't know everything.
For sure.
But it does hold you accountable too, which is what I've found. Like when we started, our community started growing and I'm teaching more and more people, and my, social media starts growing and I'm like teaching on there as well. It's like, holy shit, I better be on my game and I better learn how to coach and teach while I'm on stage. I better learn how to do this skill really well and hold myself accountable, because I never want to be a fraud. I never want to be closed-minded to the fact that I do need to still keep learning, and that was like really why I started another wholesale company out here, because I could just go all in on coaching, but I'm like, man, I feel a little fraudulent coaching something and I wasn't doing it. And I'm like, well, I can fix that by just
because they always say those
business.
Who can't do teach. And I go, those who have done very well should teach.
And
so I have
let me
a
ask you
rendition
this
of that
before I forget, because it keeps popping in my head. But like I kind of boil everything down like evolutionary too.
Yeah.
And it's like we talked about teaching and coaching a lot and like the purpose and the gratitude we feel from it. But isn't it like in our DNA?
It is.
And isn't that
Tribal,
where the
village.
dopamine comes from? Because it's like if we didn't
must be.
pass down information like when we were
We'd be done.
cavemen, we
done.
wouldn't be here. So it's like, you
I
know,
learned how to make fire. I got to show everyone how to make fire.
Exactly.
Because that will help them. And so-and-so's cold last night. She needs fire first.
yeah,
That's
it's
the
in
feeling.
us to do that, you know, and I think
point.
that's why people get such a good feeling when somebody comes to you and they say, oh, you know, you taught me this and I implemented it and now I'm here. Thank you so
Feels
much.
so
it's
good.
like, oh, I passed down that knowledge and that's why we're all here. Because somebody
way to put
passed
that.
down knowledge to me and
It must be built. You're right. It has to be, because there's no explanation. Totally. I know that it was hard. It was hard, you know, for me, for you. We want to help people, so it won't be as hard. It feels good to help people, and I do think that the highest form of education, if you know something really well, you can teach it at an expert level, and if you can teach it, that means that you understand the concepts and you can do analogies and you can teach it to someone in a way that they'll understand. Maybe they're more visual, maybe they're more audio, maybe they need a mix, maybe they need to be in person. And so you know how to teach really well because you understand the concept. But I have the same thing. Like I will never not be running something of my own.
Yeah.
Because one, it keeps me sharp. I love to learn. We're intellectually curious. We want to know. 2 years ago, I knew nothing about TikTok. I didn't even I had an account, but I didn't really use it. And I saw that's where, you know, social media, e-commerce was going. And I go, I have to figure this out. Streaming, all this stuff. So I said, okay. And it's hard sometimes because you're like, I'm loaded. I can just go take a nap, get a massage. I worked already today. Why do I need to do this? I've gone to college, I have a degree. Why do I need to do this? But there's that seeking of, if I can learn this, knowing that I have an advantage of learning faster than others because I've already been doing this for a while, I can then teach it faster than others and hopefully better than others, which will then create that multiplier effect. So I sat there and just watched every streamer hours and hours, 2 times speed. What are they doing? What are they saying? How is it like? Okay, they're responding to the comments. What are the comments like? Da, 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 da. And that led to a 6-figure streaming contract per month for me because I could learn quickly and now I can teach people. Then we learned TikTok. We did $1 million in 4 days and we launched on TikTok Shop because I went into the spy tools, seeing everything that's going on. And of course, I know now to go straight to the spy tools so I can quickly learn. So I'm not going to go and take 20 courses necessarily. I'm going to go to the spy tools because I am advanced enough that I can kind of see based on what's moving. And that gives me an idea of where to go next. And so there are times where, like right now, I'm not listening to a ton of audiobooks. I used to listen to like 1 audiobook at least a week, I would say, or I'd read a book and do both. But I listen to podcasts where it's specific. And then it's ChatGPT and things like that specific, because right now I am in build mode. And so there are seasons of life, and that season was, you got to learn TikTok, dude, or you're going to fall behind. And there are other brands already moving on it. They're beating you right now. So there's that competition layer where if I solely taught it, sometimes, as we know, not everybody listens to us right away. And it's a little frustrating, which is why I sold my agency way back then, because I would tell the clients, you got to be on Facebook ads. You got to do this 10, 15 years ago. Oh, no, Google's doing just fine. We don't need to be there. And you're like, dude, if you would have done this or change this on your website. And like, no, we don't want to change our website. So I need an outlet in order to have control over something, whether it fails or succeeds. I need something to teach from, to learn from. And I think those are the best teachers. When you are, those who have done and do should teach. And I think that's kind of my methodology. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who haven't done or aren't doing and are teaching solely. And they're comfortable in that mechanism. A lot of them are great teachers and they do a lot of great work. But I do think that, you know, imagine in business school, when I went to school, my professors weren't active business owners. They weren't running a $50 million
they
business.
haven't learned all the mistakes. Like
Correct.
they can, like that's I think the difference is like somebody doesn't do something, they just teach it. It's like they can teach it how to do it kind of, but they can't teach it what not to do because they haven't been through all the life lessons. And that's why I think like
pitfalls, all that stuff.
All the nuances. Like
Correct.
there's a million nuances that you have to learn actually doing what you're teaching. You know, it's like you can teach somebody how to swing a bat, like technically, but you know, there's people that have swung a bat a million times and can teach you the little, you know, intricacies of it.
Well, now watch you really quick, like we can in our spaces of. That's why I think there should be like a Netflix or university or something where you can go on to and you're learning branding and marketing from Josh Snow. You're learning sales, real estate, etc. from Tony and Eric. And then you're learning spirituality, etc. from so-and-so. And so you have kind of a supplement. It doesn't need to replace university, but something that can bring in those people. The problem is that there's no incentive model for those people to come back in. Not everybody believes the way we do, unfortunately, that if you conquer a mountain, you share the roadmap for others to conquer it. So there's just not a lot of that. It's unfortunate, but I do think it's growing thanks to social media, and you can kind of weed through who's done it, who hasn't done it. But there's just this dialogue inside of people like ourselves that we're hungry to learn something so that we have a chance to teach it. And if we learn it well enough and do it well enough, we may be able to teach it well enough. And then we can see 100,000, 1 million people take that same mindset, thought process. When I started teaching about 6 or 7 years ago, I've been teaching for 15 years, but this specific tactic about 6 or 7 years ago, use Audible. And I've got to so many speed reading classes. It boils down to this: follow the pen, so that way your eyes aren't wandering. I have ADHD, so I'm gonna go back and read the same page 600 times on the flight. And then as soon as I read one sentence, I go, that's a great idea, eureka, ding, 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 ding. So I love when there's no Wi-Fi on the plane sometimes. I'm sitting there.
That's the only time I can concentrate and read a book. I literally just had this conversation yesterday. I swear to God, it's so weird. Where I was like, I can't, like I have ADHD so bad. I got squirrel brain. Like I'm so hard to concentrate. And that creates anxiety, right?
Yes.
And it's like probably why we can't sit still.
Correct.
And it's like, yeah, if we don't have something going on, a bunch of challenges going on, it's like, dude, I'll sit there and like chew my arm off. It's like, I need something to do. But on a plane, when I have no Wi-Fi, I can actually concentrate on a book. But it's the same thing. It's like I read a page and I'm like, holy shit, this is a different way. And then I'm just writing about it. Like, but that is the only time.
Actually napkins. Like I'll go to that point where I'm like, I need another napkin, because I don't have my paper or whatever. I'm just writing. I'm like, dude, I read 2 pages.
Yeah.
How am I ever going to get through this book? But I started teaching this trick on my podcasts and stuff of use a pen, follow through, put the Audible on. I do 2x speed. So it's running, ding, 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 so I have to pay attention. The words are right there. I'm following with the pen. And I'm able to tear through an entire book in a plane ride. And I can comprehend it more than people that sat there and read the whole thing. So I finally found the little loophole. And I didn't know at the time that, you know, it's people with ADHD have an issue doing it. I didn't know any of that. I kept going to speed reading classes because maybe if I speed read, it'll be intense enough that I can finish all these books. Because I read hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of books before. But then once I'm in the matrix, it's just in time information only. So it's like I need to read the 2 pages, and now we have ChatGPT and all this stuff, and you don't have to read the whole book. But sometimes it's nice with the Audible on 2x speed. I'm following it, and I'm just honed in. It's the only thing that will keep me. Sometimes I'll pause it and I'll write a few notes down, but then I hit play again because it's moving now. So now my brain has caught a new track.
Well, and you got multiple things going, right? It's visual, it's audio, it's physical, it's everything. But that's like what we need, right?
I know we need that, and
100%.
It does work. If I just do the Audible, if I'm working out, that could work. If maybe
but
on
you're
the
doing
plane,
something.
But I'm probably doing something.
But that's the thing. You're working out and listening, like because you always have to have multiple stuff. Like I have to have multiple things going on. It's like I'll have a podcast going. I'll be doing something else. I'll be working on something. I need every sense.
I put the show on. I put like CNBC or whatever on the background while I'm packing for a trip. Even I gotta have something. I put music on while we're working. Me and the boys are at the house. We work a lot at the house. I put a little bit of music. It doesn't have to have words because it might distract me, but I have to have that. I think that's an unlock for people nowadays. The attention economy is everything. So every app is bing, bing. I check WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat, Messages, Messenger, Instagram, TikTok, Slack, email, 12 inboxes. And I've got a VA, PA, EA, chief of staff. It don't matter. At the end of the day, if you're not obsessed over it, it won't work.
Exactly.
You have to be all up in it. And I thought for a long time, like once we started making $1 million a month in profit, I have a team, I don't have to worry about it more. No, you better be worrying about it. You got to know all the numbers. I got to know everything. And so that's where I figured out, you have to, like with Snow, I was worried at the beginning because I'm like, man, we started with a couple products. Will it be enough to keep me busy? And it was just me. Will it be enough, And now it's like Costco, Target, Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom. Then we've got Pinterest, affiliates, TikTok Shop, operations, legal, international, FDA. So there's so much inside of one business. And that's what I would recommend to a lot of people listening, that if you're stuck between a bunch of ideas, choose one, just flip a coin if you gotta.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna learn more. Clarity comes through progress, not through pontification. You're just thinking, you gotta do it. Get your teeth kicked in.
Yep.
And you go, oh, that's what not to do. Where you're saying the nuance. You
Yep.
start to learn the nuance. And then, it's primal inside of us. And that's a really good point you brought up about the village kind of thinking primal. We go hunt. We would bring the 14-year-old boy or whatever. You're ready to go on your first hunt. We're all going to teach you different things. Tony's the best at bow and arrow. He's going to show you how to hit every single time. I'm really good at fishing. I'm going to show you how to lure it in. So we would teach that to pass it down through generation. Teach a man to fish.
Yeah.
And I think that there are a lot of us, and I hope there are even more that come out, that are willing to teach someone how to fish. Because for me, my team used to get nervous. They don't anymore because they're used to it now. But I go on podcasts and I'll share exactly what we're doing, right? And I teach it as fast as I learn it. I teach it. This is not going to create competition. This is not going to create. But no, not for me and not for us. But it creates a layer of like, if I'm teaching this, I got to move on and do the next advanced layer.
Level.
Not just because I'm afraid of that, but I want to teach that. So if I'm always moving, even if someone tries to copy it exactly, they're going to be behind.
Yeah.
If they take that and apply it to their industry, they're 3, 4, 5 years ahead. So if you do it against me, I'm moving too quick.
Yep.
If you take that into like one of my best friends, Tommy Mello, who is also a digital marketing prodigy. He's home service, blue collar. He'll change a garage spring right now in front of you faster than anyone. He's amazing, but he also is a digital marketing genius. So when you combine the one piece with the other, just like I take toothpaste, we put vitamins in it, boom. Like you combine those two. You don't have to, I didn't create toothpaste. You didn't create real estate. Like you make it better, and it's in the nuance, the attention to detail, the anticipation, and also I think a standard you have for yourself. I expect excellence from myself. I expect that I'm going to put, I tore my meniscus filming season 3. We were doing an ice hockey scene. Never played goalie in my life. And we were doing outtakes and I split my meniscus and MCL. And it was one of the most beautiful things that ever happened to me in my life. And it was, at the moment, it's felt like a little balloon filling up. And I was like, I knew like I just knew, but I didn't know what. And they're like, are you okay? I'm good. I still carried my gear back, whatever. I went to the hospital that night, just roaring pain, just couldn't walk. I was like, whoa. And then for months up until now I can walk. I was in a wheelchair. At the airport, I had to wait 30 minutes for a wheelchair because they were busy. And you get so humbled. And the craziest thing, though, is that I had other grown-ass men get up while they're eating. I just remember this scene. I'll never forget it. We're in a small town. Guy gets up, cowboy hat and all. He's mid-bite, opens the door for me, seeing that I was walking. And you see the beauty in people. And I think that slowing down for a second for a guy like me or a guy like you, there's no choice. I can't walk, so I can't go and get my bags if I wanted to. I have to wait for the wheelchair. And so even if I'm stubborn, I'm everything, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm crazy, whatever, I have to wait. And while I'm waiting, I get these conversations with these random people, and it just kind of put me in a present spot. I'm very blessed and grateful for that, even though it sucks because I ski, pickleball, tennis, I box. Like there's so much activity in my life, and it's one of the ways I hang out with all of my friends. We go box, we go to pickleball, we do this, we travel to do that stuff. But it kind of slows you down.
It forces you to slow down and live in the present. And dude, it's
see what matters.
So crazy you say that story because I had double reconstructive surgery on both my elbows last year. I had ruptured both my tricep tendons at the same time. I had torn them years ago powerlifting, and they split up the middle. And then for like 16 years, I just lived with the pain. And then all of a sudden, one day, Jesus decided they're both gonna rupture. So I had to get back-to-back surgeries, and my arms were in braces, like my right arm was in a brace for 6 weeks, and then my left arm, and like I said this on a podcast before where I started, I was still traveling a lot with one of my arms in a brace at a time for 12 weeks, you know? And I said the same exact thing where I was like, man, I used to think everybody was a bunch of assholes.
Yes.
But now that like my arm is in a brace, everybody's helping me with my bag. I dropped something at a restaurant in Louisiana and this lady comes running over and picked it up for me. It was something I was about ready to throw away and she picks it up for me and throws it away for me. People were opening doors.
No, we're not small guys where we're like frail or like you've got a brace on.
Yeah.
But it's like you could probably get it yourself.
I could have got it, but
and
like
they run to get it for
people
you.
were helping me so much
beautiful.
during that time. I was like, holy smokes, there's beauty in this.
I'm about 3 months in now.
Once you slow it down.
I just saw that occasion. The everything, man. I had this shorter woman. She's like, put your arms around me to go through on the steps and stuff.
Unbelievable.
And I'm like, I can't do that. Like,
yeah.
Like I'll fall before I let her fall. Like that's, yeah. And I think for some of us that, you know, not necessarily, I struggled with asking for help for a long time. I had to figure everything out on my own.
Sure.
Nobody helped me and I got to figure it out type of deal. But then you realize like, people are beautiful and they want to help. They want to help.
Well, that's the
dude.
thing, right? It's like I always say, when somebody gives me a gift, like you could not see me more cringy when somebody gives me a gift. I hate it. Like every inch of my being cannot accept it. I get super awkward. I can't even say thank you because I'm so awkward. Like it's something I've had to work on throughout my life where like, because I love giving gifts. Correct. It gives me so, like I feel so good. So like, when somebody gives me something, like instead of getting all awkward and saying, oh, I don't deserve this, like I just start thinking like, well, how do I feel when I give somebody a gift and they find joy in it? Like I'm gonna have to fake it till I make it, but I'm gonna say, oh my God, thank you. I can't believe you thought of me, right? And try to like really sit in that. It's like I've been training myself to do that because
it's
like
hard,
we hate to, you know, I don't know what that is. If it's self-esteem, low self-esteem or what?
Not entirely. I think, you know, there's maybe some of that in there, or at least in my experience of digging through it, it's been reinforced. You know, growing up, I didn't have people to ask for help in entrepreneurship because there was no one in my neighborhood that was doing that. I had to figure it out. There's this fear of the unknown, but more importantly, the fear of being back to where I grew up and impoverished, or maybe I'm in trouble, or so it's like, how do I give? That feels so warming. And then I was the same way. I get a gift, I'm like, thank you. Like, and you know, you're so grateful. Your heart is warmed up, but it's an awkward feeling. Awkward. And almost immediately, as soon as you give me something, I'm like, here, take my shoe off and like take my shoes. And like, Tony, no, it's your birthday. Like, no, but you don't need to give me anything. Yeah. And so after a while, I think you learn. I'm working on it right now. Yeah. Is like, how do I accept that? And yes, when someone like you or myself is giving, you know, thank you, etc. And I think it's just reinforced that we've got to help people. We are put on this earth to go through the hard stuff so that others don't have to go through the hard stuff, so that we can help them shortcut it. And of course, we got to go the longer, harder way. Yeah. Of course. And after a while, I'm starting to learn that asking for help is a superpower. Help versus fire. Help
is way better.
Is way stronger. And by this God-given injury, that I got to slow down. Yeah. And, you know, I'm this big dude walking out and people are running to open the door. Yeah. Small woman, I'll carry you. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Yeah. No, please. Like, and you kind of sit in it for a while and you go, wow, people are beautiful. Yeah. I knew that I wanted to build teams for a reason. I want to help people for a reason. And I thank them. Thank you so much. I'm the same way. I'm almost awkward. Yeah. Like I open the thing, I was like, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Shake your hand. Yeah. Like, you know, sorry, I interrupted like, now your meal. Being weird. Yeah. And he's like, dude, why would I not? Like, guys, of course I'm going to get up. Someone's injured. I'm going to do that. And so for me, it's been that. I think when you don't have a lot of that help naturally, you learn to create it. And then I think that we give the things that we wish we had at some point. Now I know I have the help. I give to give because it feels good. Sure. I don't want nothing in return. But I think at the beginning, it was like, man, if I would have had a little bit of help, that would have gone a long way for me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to overwhelm. And sometimes I'll sit outside after I speak at a conference for 3, 4, 5 hours with a whole group of people.
Yeah.
And they're like, Josh, you can go home now. It's like, I feel like I can't because he's got a really good question.
I'm the same way.
But we also learn from that. We get the excitement from that. There's a selfish selflessness that comes in there. And it's kind of interesting because it's our form of therapy as well, because we're talking to people, camaraderie. We're going through some of the scenarios of how they're thinking. And I do think that the smartest people in the world want to know how other people think, not just what they think and why they think that, but what is the process of how your mental model, where are you coming from? And you get to do that in mentoring and coaching because you get to see a lot more.
You learn from it. It makes you more empathetic, and I think, and it makes you a better coach because now you can see all these different ways people think about things.
Right.
We'll end on this question. We touched on it a little bit earlier where you were talking about how it's like and I think a lot of people, will see somebody like yourself that sold, millions and millions of dollars worth of businesses. You have this great company now, Snow Teeth Whitening. And it's like, man, there's a lot of people that even say to me that they're like, man, why don't you just sell everything and just move to Mexico for the rest of your life and live like a king, right? And it's like, that's why you're never going to get here. It's like, because you said it earlier, I sold this company. I was thinking maybe I can take all this time off, but then I started building other teams.
Within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks. But that's because that's who we are. And because that's who we are is how we get to this point, and why we have money and success is because we have that drive.
Correct.
The people that look at that and say, oh, if I had $5 million, $10 million, $100 million, I'd be done. I wouldn't do anything. I'd sit on a yacht all day. It's like, well, that's not the mentality that's going to get you there, though.
Right.
The mentality that gets you there never has you stop.
You're beyond that yacht building another business.
Yeah, exactly. But there, like you said earlier, it's like there's a mind shift where it goes from, I'm going to build another business. It's going to be $1 billion. I'm going to do this, but then you learn and mature as you grow businesses, and you're in business so long, and you mentor so many people, and you train so many teams, and you're such a leader. It's like, oh no, the shift goes away from, we talked about, the Lamborghinis, the watches, the next biggest thing, the next big house, all this stuff, and then it shifts, right? And it's like, no, now with my time, it's going to be more efficient, and I'm going to maybe build this thing, but I'm probably not going to try and kill myself doing it. Having said all of that, what is the next thing for Josh Snow?
It's that balance. So it's definitely there. I think I get way more out of my life right now. And also I'm making a lot of money. I'm helping a lot of people. But I think that the balance between enjoying my life, being present, helping others, while also we're athletes. Our sport is business. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but how we keep score is you do make money, because then you can help more people and you build bigger teams. And if you can buy another company and you're doing a better job at it, we acquire companies because we could do a better job at it. We can bring their employees in and promote them. And so there is that. So, you have your athletics and your sport, but it's when it consumes every single thing that you have to balance. Now there's seasons. If I'm starting something newer and I've got to digest, I spent the last 2-3 years going all into real estate. I didn't know enough coming into it, and I know that. So I have to ask the questions. I got to do the research. I got to know even what to ask and where am I at? I got to spend some money and kind of figure it out. And so I think when it's that season, I give myself an allowance of, it's going to be 3 months, but then you need to work really hard, and time fills the block you give it. When I'm in the Philippines and I'm working a different time zone, I'm working from 3:30 in the morning to 9, maybe about 8:30, 9. Go have breakfast, go swim in the water, do a little workout, come back, chill for a little while actually, and then maybe around 2, 3, get a little burst of energy before dinner, work on a few things, send out a few emails. And so you got to create that kind of balance. But for me, it's empowering my team, multiplying myself. That's really important. There's a book called Multipliers that I love. How do I find people that can get it 70, 80% of the way there, but with a different perspective, and then an opportunity to coach them so that at some point they might even do that specific thing better than me, because I'm not the best at every specific. I have to know
and
how
they're
to
going to
do
have
it.
more time to focus on it.
They're going to be only focused on it.
I mean, you could do way more with 100 people at 50% of Josh Snow than
Just
one
me
Josh.
at 110 even. I'm not going to get there. So I think it's community. It's teaching, our TV show. It's continuing to build Snow and all of my brands. I'm an investor in real estate in about 24 e-commerce and software businesses. So working with founders directly, creating media that's free, like our TV show, to get out there and help inspire more people. Working through the nonprofit, underserved kids, just like I was going to high school, that are really smart, they have a lot of energy, but it's not correctly categorized and they don't have the support. That's important to me. I love to travel. I love sports. So I like to actually be involved in sports. So skiing, football, basketball. So I hope to have a little bit more of that. It's a great time for me. And then I think in the business world, it's pushing the limits without destroying myself. And so I have such a high capacity now of 18 years that I can get a lot done. And I have access to people because I built that brand now and I put the work in. So I think the next few years is working really hard. I love that. I find a lot of purpose in having a great day where I go, gosh, we did this, we did this. We were just at one of our retail partners at their HQ, and it's a dream. I'd shop at this store as a kid, and to be here, rolling out a line with this retailer, I have to pinch myself sometimes and, hey, present, be present. Because in my head, it's like, okay, this is this. Did I plan this? Are we doing this? And it's like, control only what you can control.
Sure.
So release it and just say, man, feels really good. Let me take a selfie. And like, hey, come on in here, team. And so I think finding that and helping others find a balance in their life where you can make $100 million a year or whatever it is. I've sold $1 billion of product. We do 100 million plus per year. For me, it's about how can I help my team? How can I find other great people that see what we see, bring them onto the team and help others create organizations that are more than profit, better than profit. You should make 100 million profit. If you're the best and you do this, and you take care of your people, and you should be able to do that because it's a competitive landscape. It's capitalism. So I think that teaching, coaching, doing, and then enjoying my life as much as possible, getting back into sports once my knee is ready. I can't wait. So being able to do that with community. So bringing our mastermind, maybe taking it international. I'm going to Scotland to look at some castles. Why don't we buy a castle and we use it for events, and we can, for weddings and stuff, whoever wants to, rent it out, but have some like different stuff where we pull people out of frame and have an opportunity to have that breakthrough with them. And you never know who you're talking to. I've had students go on to make hundreds of millions, billions, all kinds of things, create nonprofits, churches, all kinds of stuff. So for me, I get a little taste of that by being able to help them. And then I jump back into the driver's seat of my own business and go berserk. And then hop on a little boat and go fishing, or go to Dollywood, or go to random places. I'm in the Smoky Mountains with no Wi-Fi, just hanging out, making a fire, just crazy stuff. So for me, I like the simplicity now a lot more than I think I did before. And now I kind of yearn for these very like simple homegrown stuff. So I could mix that in, hang out with my friends, community, give back, make a lot of money by creating amazing products and pushing them out there and helping others. If I could just do that, honestly, kind of what I'm doing now. I got a few more tweaks I want to make. But if I could do this for the rest of my life, I will die at any point the happiest man I could imagine. And it's taken a long time to get there. And it's avenues like this with your podcast that maybe someone could hear that. And maybe instead of taking 15, 18 years to kind of figure that out, maybe it takes them a little less, or they get there in general. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but they get there. And I think we end up with better men, better women, better fathers, better mothers, better leaders, community leaders. And I think as a nation built on entrepreneurship, we help create a ripple effect that it's a better future for our kids, our generations. So to me, that's like the deep layer. And then, of course, I love to win. We all love to win. I love to build a team that loves to win and get progress. We're all doers. No one in my organization is just a thinker, including myself. I'm in there. I'll do it. So I need an avenue to do, I need an avenue to think, I need an avenue to share, and then I need an avenue to enjoy. And if I can balance those continually throughout my life, sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down in terms of balance. But if I can keep that core, stay humble, and just really think through how can I make anyone that comes into my life throughout the day, it could be an Uber driver, it could be the barista. If there's a way, and sometimes I can feel it, sometimes people just right away tell me stuff just out of nowhere, right? And you know that person maybe needed that moment, and I was there for a reason.
Yeah.
So being present to hear those signals and not the noise.
Yeah.
And if I can stay there, I really think that I don't need to make $1 anymore in my life to live the lifestyle I want to live, which is a lot more simple than I used to live. But if I can use that money to empower other people, then I have, there's a challenge. So constantly creating a challenge, but then realizing it doesn't always have to be what I thought it was. What if my challenge is creating, building homes for people that can't afford it, or giving, there's something else that I can create a challenge in, tie that together, build a team that kind of matches that. And if I could do a mix of that throughout the day, I think I'll be the happiest ever. I like to try new foods, try new sports. I like to go to sporting events, things like that. I'm a happy guy, dude. But I never thought I would have. I thought it had to be 6 private jets, yachts, all this stuff, diamonds and all. And I realized, no, honestly, I have some biscuits and gravy where I can go crazy on. Great company where I'm laughing for hours. And then we just went to the arcade Saturday. We're all adults. We're at the arcade having a great time. To me, those moments mean so much to me now that I try to do as much as I can in the moments I have at work, so that I can enjoy those. So it's kind of shifted. And then be a dad. I think in the next few years, I'd love to be a dad, love to be married and have kids and be able to add to my life and balance it through that way. If I could do that, I'll be happy.
You're happy. We talk a lot about balance, and people always ask about balance too. And it's like, I look at balance a little different than most, I think. And I always have this analogy. All my analogies go back to a bicycle, because I owned and ran a bicycle company in San Diego for 15 years. So I was around it so much, right? So the analogy I say about balance too is this kind of dawned on me one day where I was like, well, balance, what is balance? Because I don't want to work really hard, come home and sit on the couch.
Right.
What is balance? And then I was like, well, every time I teach a kid how to ride a bike, I always find a hill, because I'm like, they need momentum, right? To stay balanced. And it's like, the faster you ride a bike, the faster you roll a wheel down a hill, the straighter it's going to be, the more balanced it's going to be. The slower you go, the more unstable you get, right? And I would see it all the time, and I'm like, that's what a balanced life is. It's not that you go really hard at work and with a community, and then you come home and kick your dog and be a piece of shit and sit on the couch and drink a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Correct.
The balance is operating at this level, because we have to. It's inside of us. We have this energy, right? It's like, how do we operate at that level and fast and efficient at every single thing that we do? And that's where the balance comes in. It's like, all right, maybe 24 hours a day, it's not work, but I'm going to go 100 miles an hour at work. I'm going to go 100 miles an hour with my family. I'm going to go 100 miles an hour with my community, 100 miles an hour with serving people, 100 miles an hour with my health. All that stuff. It's like, that's the true balance. It's like, we can't get away from who we are, It's like, but how do we balance the things in our life to continue going straight and fast?
I think you're right on, man. We're in the Philippines. I want to swim with the turtles. I want to go with the sea bob. Even if my knee messed up, I want to take that sea bob and go underwater. Maximizing, life maxing. You want to maximize those moments. I think that's a good point, is you're up here with work like I am. I'll work 8 hours, 12 hours straight, and I'm on the moon. And then, go and watch TV. And some days, you might just need to go home.
You need to rest.
And 1 or 2 hours, just take a nap, go to sleep, you're fine. But I think you're right. In the community, the coaching, if you can keep that same kind of level, your identity stays balanced as well. That's what feels right to people like us. And everybody looks different. Some people, they can do that. For me, I was on a swan boat in Austin, working on acquiring a business, and I was just on the phone. But that was the moment that it felt right, and it's what I wanted. Sometimes I get a kick out of that. I can be on a little swan boat or whatever, and I'm closing a deal, and I go, how American is this? How cool is this that I could be doing this? And there's a part of me that feels balanced. Like someone else, and I'd be like, why aren't we just enjoying the swan thing? Well, I have ADHD. Did you not hear me?
Yeah.
A swan boat's not enough. I got to be doing something. Music's on. Let me swim. It's got to be something. And then you find things like working out, sport. When I'm skiing, I can't be on my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm up there, I'm skiing, and I'm free, and I'm feeling so good.
Man. Isn't it nice not having a phone?
It is. Sometimes
that's why I love
man.
Mexico so much. It's like, dude, I'd live in Baja basically when I'm down there, and I'm just like, the worst part of my trip is when I get back to the border and my phone turns on, and it's like, oh, I was just living in the present for so long. It's we'll go out on this, and I think you're a prime example of this. I heard this story years ago about there was an interview with a police officer that trained drug sniffing dogs, right?
Okay.
And this guy's interviewing him, and I'm a curious person. I listen to anything I think is interesting, right? And I'm listening to this interview, and a natural question was, what breed of dog is the best at sniffing out drugs? And the trainer, kind of looked at him crazy. He's like, well, there is no specific breed for this. He goes, all dogs can do it. And he goes, well, how do you pick the dogs? And he goes, we go to the pound, and all the dogs that had way too much energy for people that they just threw away and said couldn't listen or anything. He goes, we pick the dogs with the most energy.
Wow.
And he goes, and we just hone that energy on one fucking thing. And it's their purpose. And they just are the best dogs at this one job.
I didn't know that.
And I sit here and talk to you for, I don't even know how long we've been going, probably well over an hour. But it's like, man, the energy you have, it's like, it's contagious. And it's like, people out there listening, if you have a lot of energy, like, where are you putting your energy? Is it into bullshit? Is it into scrolling on TikTok all day long, looking at girls shaking their ass? Like, how are you spending your time and energy? Because everybody has the opportunity out there to take whatever energy you have, and as long as you create a life and a schedule and a routine where you're focusing this energy on positive things and moving the needle, whether it's relationships, work, whatever job you have. Like, I used to work at a car wash, and I would run circles around everybody that worked there. And because of that, I made more tips than everybody. Yep. I had an opportunity. A regular customer came there, and the day I turned 18, he's like, come work with me at my welding shop. I want to hire you. Like, you just do that and put your energy into whatever you're doing in a positive way, because we all have that opportunity. Like, there's nothing special. I'm gonna say this. There's nothing special about Josh Snow. There's nothing special about TONYMONT. There's nothing special about Robert Wensley or Eric Kleiner or the friends we hang out with. It's like we all have this energy, and we have just found in our lives that if we just focus it on these pillars, then that's how we found success. It's a superpower.
People I tell the students all the time in our nonprofit, your brain is a supercomputer, and computers get viruses sometimes, and you need an antivirus. So what are you putting into your computer? What are you downloading? What shows are you watching? What podcasts are you listening to? Newsletters you're subscribing to? Your feed? What are you following? Change it up, because you might not know it, but you're feeding subconsciously, you're training your brain on what to desire. And if you leave that up to chance, someone else will take control of that. They're going to dictate it. And if you have the energy, and yes, everybody listening that's anything like this, you got a lot of energy, maybe your teachers told you, if you apply yourself, or if you do, there's something to that. Because there's so much energy and power going on in our brains, and there's nothing special. It's just a lot of energy. And in fact, for a long time, I had a desk outside the classroom. So I had too much energy.
I was like not invited into my classroom.
Yeah, I was not allowed in. I was. They switched me teachers a couple times. I had all that, and I went on to graduate valedictorian, because when I was in 10th grade, I realized, oh crap, if I don't figure this out, my family can't help me out financially. So I put all of my energy. I quit football. It was horrible. I didn't want to, but I said I have to retake my math class from freshman year in order for me to get better grades. If I get better grades, I get scholarships just in case, so I can go to college. So everything led to that, but I think you nailed it. It's taking that energy put it in the right few things. It can be one thing, three things. You kind of add to it. But the shiny object syndrome is dangerous. Put it into one thing. If you don't obsess over it, it will not excel at that level. But you will find many, many more things that you fill your life in over time. And you're able to give, to your point, that balance of energy. And now it's like, hey, we're doing pickleball. We're going crazy.
Yeah.
We're getting Raising Cane's, a party box coming out when we're done. We're putting music on. You know, we're just having a blast in that moment because that feels right to me. And a lot of times people message me on social media and be like, you're one day riding a dolphin. You're at NASDAQ taking a company public. You're on a TV show. You're at the hospital, all in like 2 days.
That's your balance.
And that's my balance.
Yeah, dude. Well, this has been a fucking slice of heaven, dude. Thank you so much
Thank you for having me, of
for
course.
jumping on the pod.
Anytime.
This was great. Where can people find you? And
I'm at Josh Snow everywhere. Goingpublic.com is the TV show. At Snow, 4 letters, is the Snow brand.
Yep.
You kind of find everything else from there, honestly.
Yeah, type in Josh Snow. You'll get
Josh
all
Snow,
of it.
yeah.
Well, dude, I appreciate you. Thanks for
appreciate
joining
you.
us. For Josh Snow and Tony Mont, we'll see you at the top.